Monday morning here. I've actually just got a new, well, to me it's a camera, but it's a phone. So iPhone 12. It's my wife's old phone. And I'm just checking in that the floor's completely dry. That's a good start. Look up here. Now that's nice and dry. That's what I wanted. Everything's dry on this car. That's good. That's what I want. And I got these screws turned up I want. 8 screws. 28 bucks. 12 delivery. I'm not going to Adelaide to pick up 8 screws. It's pretty expensive. That's where I got them. If you want screws that you can't buy, try them. All right, back on the Honda. What I want to do today is finish off this last piece, a bit of wiring. I've got to wire up the starter, wire up the ignition, and wire up that thing that runs the fuel pump. That's it. Now I do have a wiring diagram come out of the workshop manual thing that it's on the internet. But a bit of it's missing. This part here doesn't line up. That doesn't line up with that. There's something missing in the middle. But it has the bit I want, so I'm going to do that. All right, all that's done now. Those 2 wires there, they weren't what I thought they were for. They go for the wiper washer thing that operates the washers, the little motor. That wire there, as far as I could figure out, goes up to that side of the resistor. That's where I've got it anyway. That's how I figured it. This is all done. I had some red boots for those. I don't know where I put them. I've had that on. I'm just disconnecting it now because I've had enough. I'm going up to watch the Formula 1, Japanese Formula 1. Nothing got hot. That's what I wanted. Anyway, the wiring's done. I've actually kicked it over. I kicked it over on that thing there, the solenoid, but I'll hit it over with the key when I come down tomorrow. I've also chucked a horn in there. That was the last couple of wires. And that's probably, we won't keep that horn forever, but it's just a horn for now, it works. And there's only one other thing, this wire here does have a loose wire for some reason. And there's 2 yellow suits, one or the other. So I think it's that one. We'll find out. Okay. Got those trick little boot things for that. When I started this morning, I went to test it, nothing was working. And I discovered this dash light thing in here, the little map light thing was stuck on. Under here, there's a map light, turn that on, it comes on and off now. I had to pull all that crap back out and change the wiring a bit. I think that's why I didn't have a bulb in it, because it was stuck on. Anyway, I've got that sorted. There's the horn. Every single thing's working. I've just been going through every little thing. I've got wipers, I've got obviously the horn, I've got start, like it cranks over. All the lights are working. I just haven't tested the blinkers yet and the brake light, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure they'll work. I've just got to go through it if it doesn't. Anyway, tomorrow, I've had enough of this thing. My back's stuffed after that. Pulling that all apart in there. Like anyone who's worked on these Hondas, I'm sure they know how difficult they are to work up under the dash. Yeah, not fun. Anyway, that's done. And tomorrow, I'll make sure I got spark, which I'd say it does. I can't see why I wouldn't. And get it running. Get this thing running, and I'll make sure I've got brake lights and I've got blinkers. I'll just flick the parkers on. I noticed the headlights have to be on. The headlights have to be on with the ignition. All that crap at the back's working. Everything's working. So far. I'm getting it there anyway. Little light things at the front. I'm just going to throw it on the trickle charger overnight. Turn that off. Anyway, gone from having nothing to just about everything's working. So far the dash lights work, everything. Pretty cool. Like this wiring loom was burnt out. Whoever worked on this car hooked the earth up to here. That's a power. They're both power. So they had the earth running straight there, and it all practically caught on fire. I had to change every single earth wire throughout the whole loom. Anyway, that's enough for today. Also, the brake master cylinder's done. It's on its way back from Adelaide. They paid for it yesterday. Okay, we're back on the Honda. It's just been raining. The last couple of weeks, it's rained. I've managed to repaint that roof, but I'm just going to have to put off doing that thing on the painting those stripe things. Today, I've got the new the rebuilt master cylinder back from Adelaide. I'm going to be putting that on and bleeding the brakes. I want to get them done, and then I've got to finish going over the electronics. I've also bought different clamp things for here. I don't like them ones, but these ones. They're not period correct, but they're insulated, and you know, if it's ever in a hit, it's quite close to the radiator mount here. I don't like the look of that, so this will be covered. Plus, if you want to disconnect the battery, just lift this thing up and it'll disconnect the battery. All right, got that installed. Always real tricky getting these lines in. They have to be dead on or they don't screw in, and it's very difficult to get in there. Anyway, I've got that done. I'm going to be using this thing again. These things here, they're bloody great. I've just put it back up on the hoist. I've gone right over the thing. There's no leaks anywhere. That's what I wanted. I don't want shit. There's nothing on the floor. It's been sitting here for about an hour. I've gone over every little nook and cranny. There's nothing, no leaks anywhere. It's still taking on fluid. It's not full. I've put 500 mils in. I've put a full container. Like, you don't want it to leak up in there. Like, see, that's completely dry. That's what I wanted. Like, if that one of those leaked, especially that one on the left there, you just can't undo it. There's no possible way. You got to take the body off to get that. And thankfully that's fine. Anyway, I just got to keep going. Those little things, they're all right. But I don't think I've ever fully bled a system with that thing. You still need someone to come down and do the old pedal trick. Nothing beats that. I'm just going to have a rest off this bleeding this. It just seems I'm going to need someone here to help me. So, yeah, I'll just leave it. I can't see any leaks, which is always handy. But I'll leave it overnight and make sure there's no drips in the morning. But just right now, I'm going to assemble these new parts on here and fix these up. The windscreen wipers, they look a bit grubby. I'll clean them up. What a surprise, these don't fit. Huh. Bloody things, this little lip here, that lip there, should be back about 1.5 mil. They don't fit. Like, man, come on. Can't you sell one thing that fits? It's different to here. Like, I'm going to have to modify it somehow because it just doesn't fit on. Surprise, surprise. I filed that lip back. This lip here probably went a little bit far, and I also filed that lip back. You only got to go back about 1.5 mils. So now I've got to paint that, otherwise it'd probably rust. It would be nice to be able to buy something that just fits. Okay, that's it for today. I got them wipers on anyway. They work as well. I've already tested them. Yeah. Anyway, the brakes have got fluid in them. I just can't get that. I just can't get the last bit of air out of it. It's still got a bit of air in there. Oh, I probably can. I just got to keep mucking around with it. But it's easier with someone help you pushing the foot on the pedal. It's way quicker. That thing, it does work, but it's not as good as someone helping you. So I'll do that tomorrow, and I'll wind the thing over tomorrow and see if I can get some fuel come up to the fuel filter. And if that fills up, well, I'm pretty sure it'll go. I haven't checked it for sparks, so I'll also do that. Anyway, I'm going to deal with that brake thing later. I've still got getting air in that line over there. And these front lines, and all of them I suppose, I'm going to get some more brake fluid and just do it the traditional way. Just right for now, I'm going to wind this thing over and see if it'll fill that fuel filter up with fuel. It's half full of fuel, the bottom half. There was no arrow on that bloody thing, so I wasn't sure which way it went. I hope I haven't got it around the wrong way. Before I go pulling that out, it's got a little bit of fuel in it, the fuel filter. I'm going to go and look it up, make sure they're not unidirectional. There was no arrows on it, nothing. So I put it in the way I thought would go best. And I also want to make sure that with the fuel pump, there's a line going in on the bottom, and there's a line going in or coming out at the top on the side. So I've got it so the lower one goes to the tank, and the one coming out of the side feeds the engine. I want to make sure that's right for starters, and I definitely want to make sure that I don't have to flip that fuel filter. So if that's the case, it's a prick of a job, but just got to do it. And there's also the possibility that I could have it wired wrong. So I've just got to double check all this stuff. Well, I've just checked it, it's got an awesome spark. There's no problem there. And I've double checked the wiring loom for this. And this contact breaker for the fuel pump, that's called a contact breaker, by the way. That goes up, and it does hook up to here. The opposite terminal, like this one here, goes down to the coil. So it's got to hook up to the opposite one, and that's where it is. So now what I've got to do is make sure, I'll just grab it. I've just got to make sure, see the line going into the bottom of the fuel pump? That's supposed to be, as far as I could see, that goes from the tank. That thing's disconnected down there. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that part. That's what probably causing all this hassle. So anyway, I've got to double check. I never looked it up. I've got to double check that feeds is from the tank, the feed, and then one comes out of the side of that pump. That's got to go to the engine. So I'll go and double check that's right, and I'll look up the fuel filter that I bought and make sure that I don't have that round the wrong way. And apart from, if none of that's wrong, I might have to replace the fuel pump. Righto, Sunday morning here, Easter Sunday. What I've discovered, it seems like I do have these around the wrong way. The pipe going into the bottom of the fuel pump goes to the engine, and the one going in the side comes from the tank. So I'm going to just try and swap these two if I can. I'm going to have to take this back off. It might look easy, but there's no room in there. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to change something. It doesn't really look any different, but I have swapped them. So I'll lower it down and see if that fuel filter will fill up completely with fuel. But when I undid that line, fuel is pissed out of there. So it's basically, once it started moving, it was, whatever gravity was pushing it out. Okay, we'll wind it over and we'll see if the thing fills up with fuel. It's hard to film this end. I don't know if I can. Here's the key. Key's here. I'll see what that looks like. Looks like it's got fuel in it. I think I can see what's going on here. See, looking at this chart thing, it's the only thing I've got. You can see this line comes from the fuel tank, goes down and up, and then bends in. So it goes to the top of the fuel pump, comes in the side. And this line here goes down, feeds the engine. It comes out the bottom of the fuel pump. I had it around the wrong way, now it's right. So it's still not working, but I haven't got any blinkers. And the blinker has a similar colour wire to the fuel pump. It's actually green and white. It's pretty, and they're all faded and shit. And there's a blue and a white comes out of the fuel pump. I think I might have them mixed. So I'm going to pull the grill out and double check all that crap, I'll go over with a power probe. I should be able to get the fuel pump to flutter, and I should be able to get the blinkers to come on. I'm pretty sure I've got them crossed, so we'll see. I've just got this all undone to help me get at it easier, but fuel pump stuck. Definitely. It was all wired right. I don't know why the blinkers haven't come on yet, but I'll get to that next. But I'm going to pull that fuel pump out. I've already tried to pull it apart. It's a sealed unit. It doesn't want to come apart. It's probably stuck with the same crap that was in the fuel tank. It's just stuck. I'll try and pull it apart, but it's probably going to need a new one. Look, I'll probably just make a video because I haven't put one up for a bit. But it's getting there. The car's close, obviously, but yeah, without a fuel pump, it's not going to go. So I'll just whack a little video up and show you what's going on. I haven't given up or nothing. Yeah, well, actually, what I'll do is I'm going to pull the fuel pump out and see if I can just fix it. Like, they are a sealed unit, so, you know, probably not. But either way, it's got to be pulled out. Fuel's going to go everywhere, so I'm just going to have to get a plug to plug that up and just have a look at the fuel pump. All right, thinking about it, there's two possibilities with this bloody thing. It's either the fuel pump's stuffed or the fuel pump won't work without this thing. That's the contact breaker for the fuel pump, and I possibly do have it wired wrong. When you put that fuel pump on power, like normal fuel pump, you just hook those two wires up and it'll flutter. Simple as that. This thing just goes but every time you touch it, a bit like that, each time you touch it. So it's not working. I managed to get that apart, cleaned it out. And if anyone knows whether that is the correct way to plumb this, like the way I see it, the fuel comes from the tank into the side here and comes out of there and goes to the engine. If anyone knows if that's wrong, can you let us know? And has anyone's ever tested one of these fuel pumps? If you could let us know that too, it'd be great. Anyway, I'll put a little video up, and it shouldn't be too much, but I don't want to buy a fuel pump if I don't have to. Anyway, thanks for that. Happy Easter, everyone.